Hey, Transformers, we have a special guest joining us. His name is Christopher Chen. I have so much respect for Christopher Chen because um, he's part of a company called Freedom Coaching, and I'm actually one of the clients. And without Chen, I wouldn't have experienced freedom in my life. And so I have a lot to thank you for. But that's for another topic. But today, Chris, we wanted to hear a little bit more about your fitness journey, hopefully inspire more people to take action, invest in their health, be the best that they can be. And so, Chris, welcome to the call. Why don't you take a few seconds and quickly introduce yourself?
Thank you, Patrick. My name is Chris. I am a certified life coach, freedom coaching, as Patrick mentioned. I'm also a volunteer with Knights of Columbus and Toastmasters, so that keeps me busy for most of the day. I am married to my wife, Alana, for 2 years. And yeah, that's the gist of my life, day-to-day grind, so to speak. Adding freedom, adding Perform and Transform has been a life-changing experience for me, not only for my overall health, but just the way I look at life in particular as a life coach. That's obviously very important for me to help others as well.
Amazing, amazing. I didn't know you're a part of Toastmasters. That's pretty cool. I have heard you speak on the Freedom Coaching podcast, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, jumping right in, like before joining a program, um, what were some of those challenges with like fitness and nutrition?
I was just telling my wife before we got on this call what I actually looked forward to on the weekends. So let's say today being Friday, when I was single, I'll walk you through exactly what my meal routine would be like.
Sure.
So it'd be a late night dinner. I would go out to like those Hong Kong style cafes. I would get those house special spaghetti meals filled with sauce. I would have that, and then I would watch a late night movie, incorporate like a bag of chips, a hot dog from 7-Eleven, bubble tea, and maybe some chocolate. So then I would go to bed after that, after watching the movie.
Sounds like a heart attack ready to happen.
I would have done that for many weeks in a year. Like not every week, but I would do that probably consistently once a month. And then when I got married, I realized that I couldn't do that anymore. I wasn't allowed to do that anymore. But I was still not happy with my weight. And I was stuck at 177 pounds for a long time. And that was up 2 pounds, like 175, that I was leveled out for 3 or 4 years. I wasn't eating terribly. I wasn't also eating what I just explained earlier on the weekends, but it was how I was eating that was the problem. I realized that, the Chinese diet, you would have rice at dinner, you would have fruit afterwards, promote so-called healthy eating, eating well, but none of that actually is necessary for us to gain our nutrients and for us to live a healthy life. If anything, when I think on it now, it's a lot harder for me to go back to that, knowing the damage that it can do to my body.
Absolutely. You are what you eat, right? And so after joining our program, like what were some of those lifestyle shifts? What's working for you? What do you like in our program? What are some of those habits that you're building?
I was I had to buy a certain uh, size up for my pants. Embarrassingly, I went up 2 inches because my previous pants didn't fit. That was basically the peak of how bad it got for my health. And I wasn't like suffering or anything, but I realized too that when I was playing sports, that once I put on my compression sleeves and my pads underneath my shirt and my jerseys, that it became very bulky to run in. And I did that for several years, and I was carrying all that extra weight, and naturally you become more tired and fatigued when you play. Like I play basketball and hockey, you're going up and down the gym constantly. Become a great struggle. So now the clothes fit probably looser now than before. Like now I might even have to buy a size down for
That's
my
a good
usual.
problem to have.
I mean, I can always use a belt, so I can still use the pants that I had before. But the the big lifestyle change I have found is not having the craving to eat what I used to eat, especially late at night. Like
Hmm.
that combination especially. So like just before we hopped on this call, I had a bowl of rice, snow peas, egg, corn, and Chinese sausage. It was a small bowl, and then I had a banana afterwards. It's not hard to fathom a Chinese diet that would you would consume those two items towards the end of the day. So I realized that shift alone made me feel like I don't have to feel guilty anymore. I can eat that way, but at the beginning of the day, and then I'll be exercising later at 6 p.m. and I can burn all that off, no problem, provided I eat well the rest of the day.
Amazing. Sounds like nutrition has really, really been improved. Like you're really dialing in when you're gonna have certain things, which is great. You're experiencing less cravings. Pants are feeling looser. You said you're down a few inches, so that's incredible. Anything else that you're really enjoying or really loving in the program?
So there's one thing I've heard in all fitness programs, and this one was no different, that it you can literally eat whatever you want. And I put that to practice on my trip last month in the US. And I went all over the East Coast just eating all my favorite foods like Philly cheesesteak, soul food, and I didn't gain any weight. I was exercising, I was obviously walking around, it was also very hot, but the big change I had was again, I didn't eat carbs at dinner time. And when I had my soul food meals, I would deliberately order two vegetable dishes as my sides. And that made a huge difference too. And I realized that that actually completed my meal more than I would have like mac and cheese or Kenny yams, just a bunch of empty carbs that would just fill you up. You might feel good for a while and then starts really sticking to your body and you start feeling sluggish and you're missing all your nutrients from vegetables. So that was the big change for me. And when I got back home, I realized that I don't have to make such a drastic shift in my eating like some people may think it is when they first start out any workout or nutrition program. It's a shift in the mindset of when to eat it and how much to eat it is probably the biggest change that I've able to make.
That's incredible. Like going on vacation and still enjoying your food, having it at the right time, having the right portions, incorporating those veggies in so that you
Yeah.
don't feel bloated. Enjoying your food. Yeah, those are all huge things. You even gain, an ounce. And we always like to say, it's not the one or two bad meals that determine your weight, but it's what you do the other 90% of the time, right? You have one or two bad meals, it's okay, right? As long as you get back on track, you go back to your regular way of eating, the weight is going to stabilize or the weight is going to go back down, right? Or if you're on vacation, right? If a few weeks you're having, some soul food or Philly cheesesteak, and then you come back, you go back to your regular way eating, same thing. You're going to go back down to the default weight. And so, awesome job. That's really, really inspiring. And so, share with us, like, what are results so far for you, Christopher?
So I'm just on the outside of losing 15 pounds as of this morning. I'll say that the nutrition plays a much bigger part than the fitness. But the fitness aspect is important too because it helps you develop that stronger mindset to be more mentally tough and to do it with a group of other transformers who have not only started the journey or have already been through what you've been through, that it's very inspiring to know that okay, this actually works and people actually believe in this and they're doing this like everyone else, and there's something to be said about a proven track record, which seems very clear to me that Performer Transform has. So I do recommend for those who are looking for something different in their workout and diet regimen to consider Performer Transform as an option to hit your goals.
Amazing. Crushing it. Down 15 pounds. You're pretty much hit your goal. Um, you're enjoying the workouts. You're feeling inspired by the workouts. There's strength in numbers. So awesome. We're all very, very proud of you, Chris. And so for everyone watching and you wanted to help support Chris and you wanted to learn more about our program, I have an ebook. There's some workouts, recipes, 3-step formula to boost metabolism. If you want a copy, comment below me and I'll make sure my team and I send you one. Also, if you want to try out our program, the exercise component for 7 days, we can give you a 7 day trial as well. And Chris, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. Very proud of you and keep up all the hard work.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.